especially seeing it's the end of the year, and remembering what I was like. I'd squirreled all of my books together and super excited to have a little bit of a break and then open up all the boxes and the books in the new year and plan and do all of that thing. I thought maybe we should chat about some tips for new homeschoolers and old homeschoolers for having a successful next year. So I'm going to hand it straight to you. And what would be your first tip?
I think we always start a new year with hope, and it's normally hope that we're going to do more and do better than we've done the year before. But after many years of homeschooling, I've learned that there are curveballs every year. There's always something that disrupts your family or your life or your country or your health or something.
Yeah.
And so we need to actually just start out with realistic expectations and not think of our children as those empty buckets that we've got to cram with full of as much stuff as possible, but rather think about what are the essential skills that we need them to learn. And also to work on their characters, because there's no curriculum for that, but it's actually those things that in the long term I think are more important than how many books we worked through and how many curriculums we finished and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And in fact, the other night we were chatting at the table with my oldest children, and they were saying that they don't remember much of the stuff that came out of books and things that I had planned. Obviously, they're those really special storybooks that just live deep inside their souls that they won't forget. But a lot of the learning that they remembered was self-initiated learning, and ones that they started, and then I would come alongside and provide them with environment, connection with people in those areas. And those are the things that have really stuck with them. And in fact,
can you give some examples?
Well, yeah, I was going to say my eldest daughter, in her late teen years when she had started doing Cambridge, her life was just Cambridge for 3 years. And on a Sunday, her and her dad used to do two things. They would watch the MotoGP and they would watch The Right Stuff. They also went through a season of watching mountain biking movies. And that little known to me, look, I mean, there were lots of things. She learned to read, she learned to write, she learned to do maths, she got an excellent Cambridge result, but she's gone into cinematography. And if you ask her what was the link between her education and being involved in cinematography and her passion for telling stories through the medium of film, it goes back to those times sitting with her dad on a Sunday afternoon on a couch, watching The Right Stuff, the mountain biking movies, which are just full of such beautiful cinematography. And that is where her passion lay. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't plan that. Same thing with my son. His passion and love for art and animation only came when he was 18 years of age. He had obviously his building blocks in place so that he could pursue that. So, those things, it's not to say that we shouldn't put building blocks in place. Oops, sorry, dogs. But the fact is that most of the things that our children end up doing and loving is because it's been initiated through their own volition. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's often we focus on the academic skills to give them the basics so that we think we've done a good job of educating them. But then they discover the things that they love and want to do. And it's like you say, it's often outside of those typical traditional classroom subjects. And we shouldn't discount those hobbies and those other interests as well. So yeah, a good reminder.
Yeah, and then I just thought, I did a couple of things to try and ease into the year. We've had a tough 2020, the country, well, the world, and a lot of things have been new. But what we always used to do, is that on the day that schools were going back, we used to have a not back to school day. And often it was, obviously because, we've got the beaches right here, we would pack up early and go down and spend the majority of the morning at the beach at St. James Pool, or sometimes up at Silvermine Dam, and just let the children relish in the fact that they're not part of that rat race, that they could just enjoy their first day, and acknowledge that this is learning, this is life. Nothing really changes. You just might pick up a few more books at the table. Did you have any back to school traditions?
Yeah, our homeschool group often does that not back to school picnic kind of thing. And I think also easing into subjects one by one and just starting off slow instead of starting off with an agenda, and we try and force a whole bunch of things on our kids that first day, and they're often just reluctant, and then your day can be full of bad attitudes and bad relationships, and you can just spoil it. So I think it's a good idea to just start off by saying, okay, we're going to read stories today, or we're going to bake, or just do something that's more relaxing, not just the academic bookwork, and don't just jump in at the deep end with that tough stuff, but make it fun.
No, I agree. Sorry if there's background noise. We're just recording it, obviously, on a really bad day on a Wednesday. The other thing that we used to do is, look, I have a bit of a stationery fetish. Well, I did. So I used to always go and get our year's books and, you know, whatever we need in terms of arts and crafts and that sort of thing. And that first week, we would actually just look through the materials that we had got in terms of the educational stuff. Obviously, as the kids got older, they would be more involved in the choosing of that. And then we would cover books, and when they were little, they used to love to find a picture and color it in and put it in for a geography or a history or a science or whatever. And that was our first week, along with a lot of reading and maybe one discipline subject. And I think that it's all of our videos that we talk about. We're always wanting parents to understand that there is no need for a straitjacket. There is no need for you to have a schedule every single day of your life. There are seasons for schedules and there are seasons not. And that first week can be such an exciting time as everybody kind of gears up and starts to get ready for something that is perhaps more of a discipline than before. So anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I think like we always say, it's always about homeschooling. For me, it's always about the relationship and life more than just academics.
Absolutely.
But as homeschooling moms, especially in the beginning, all we tend to focus on is books and academics, and we forget that about the bigger picture. So I think we'll just keep on saying the same old thing over and over because it takes years to sink in.
It does. Well, lovely chatting. Thanks, Jules.
Bye.